From gigantic giraffes and powerful rhinos to cunning monkeys and fierce lions. In today's episode, we will head straight into the vast African safari lands, where every turn can become an unforgettable adventure or a real nightmare. You will find stories of incredible escapes, the unexpected curiosity of wild beasts, and even encounters that make your heart beat many times faster. Enjoy watching. Imagine this: you are driving along marshy roads in an unknown safari park. All around you are towering thickets and an unsettling silence. Suddenly you see an old bus converted into a sightseeing cage. It seems the tourists inside should feel safe, since metal bars protect them from the wild. However, tigers are clever and curious creatures. They boldly approach the bars, sniffing them as if inspecting an exhibit on their territory. At first glance, it may seem as though the people here are the caged animals, and the tigers are the spectators. But let the smallest breakdown or malfunction occur. Say the door mechanism gets stuck or the bars creak, and the predator will try to find a weak spot. Tigers possess enormous strength and the ability to leap to impressive heights. In mere moments, they could turn a sightseeing vehicle into a dangerous trap. Instructors in such parks often warn, never stick your hands out or attempt to interact with the tigers, for these cats are masters of lightning-fast attacks. When an entire lion pride appears in one of Africa's most famous national parks, tourists are left breathless. Could there be a better safari show? The big cats may lie serenely right on the asphalt, basking in the sun's rays and majestically posing for photos. However, lions are hardly sweet house cats, and among them there can always be especially curious or edgy individuals. One lioness, clearly bored, decided to test the durability of the wheel on a car that had stopped nearby. Perhaps she was drawn by the smell of the rubber, or in the lioness's eyes it looked like something strange, demanding investigation. She literally sank her teeth into the tire, which burst with a loud pop. The lioness jumped from the unexpected sound, and the people inside the car felt their hearts drop. Interestingly, lions often show persistent curiosity toward unusual objects, and their jaws can easily puncture thick layers of rubber. The vehicle was fortunate not to be damaged more severely. The inhabitants of the African plains do not always welcome guests kindly. Rhinos, especially if there are calves nearby, view any noisy or unfamiliar object with suspicion. Their mass can reach several thousand kilograms, and their horn, though it is made of the same substance as our nails, remains one of the most formidable natural clubs on the planet. In one African reserve, tourists watched a huge rhino suddenly detect a potential threat and decisively head toward an entire line of cars. It had no intention of stopping, and these giants can pick up quite a bit of speed when angered. In a matter of seconds, the rhino caught up and slammed its massive forehead into the hood of the very first vehicle. People panicked, trying to drive away, but the animal clearly indicated that the uninvited visitors should leave. Rhinos have long been on the brink of extinction because poachers hunt them for their horns, and as a result, these creatures have become especially anxious and prone to aggression at the sight of vehicles and human presence. In an Indian wildlife sanctuary, a group of people decided to take a leisurely jeep ride to observe Bengal tigers in their natural environment. At first, everything went smoothly. A tiger was prowling along the tall grass, stalking prey or simply surveying the territory. But then the animal apparently sensed it was being watched too closely and decided to show who is boss here. In an instant, like a perfectly calibrated hunting machine, the striped predator lunged forward. Its jump was swift and threatening. The people in the jeep hit the gas, realizing the tiger can run almost as fast as a vehicle on a poor road. Add the element of surprise and the cat's considerable size, and you will understand why witnesses said their adrenaline spiked immediately. However, it all ended with a sort of warning from the tiger. It demonstrated its power and let them know that it could easily catch these unwelcome guests if it chose, but for now, it decided to let them go. If you have ever been warned, do not roll down your windows in a zoo or safari park. This story perfectly illustrates why such a rule exists. Tourists drove up to an area where curious giraffes were roaming, and someone decided to crack a window open to offer the long-necked beauty a treat. At first, everything seemed fun and friendly, until one of the travelers tried to close the window at the exact moment the giraffe's head was still inside. Feeling the pressure, the giraffe jerked, and with a loud crash, the window shattered into pieces, showering everyone with shards of glass. Fortunately, the animal was not seriously injured, but the driver and passengers had to think quickly about how to explain this mini catastrophe to the safari staff. After all, giraffes may appear peaceful, yet their sudden movements and huge mass can cause a real accident. Hippos often seem like charming, chubby creatures, calmly floating in the water. But in reality, these are very dangerous animals capable of attacking people and other species if they sense someone has encroached upon their territory. It is well known that hippos open their massive jaws to show a threat and can effortlessly bite a wooden boat in half. In one particular episode, a few people were admiring a hippo from what they believed was a safe distance. The animal apparently regarded this attention as a violation of its personal space. With a thunderous snort, the hippo charged at the vehicle, which luckily was quickly started. As they beat a panicked retreat, the people witnessed just how a hippo can chase a moving car using the colossal mass and strength of its legs. After that incident, the hippo was unfortunately sedated and relocated, although many believe the whole affair happened due to the tourists' carelessness, and the animal was merely defending its territory. Here is another astonishing hippo story that proves you must never underestimate these giants. A group of tourists found themselves near a body of water in the scenic Okavango region of Botswana. They spotted a hippo nearby and stopped to snap a few photos. At first, the hippo seemed indifferent, merely standing chest-deep in the water. However, without warning, the creature suddenly sprang into action and rushed toward their vehicle in a matter of seconds. The tourists, panic-stricken, tried to drive off, but the hippo clamped its jaws around the passenger door, crushing the metal as if it were foil. All the people could do was scream in terror, realizing that this is not some lazy giant, but a real armored tank with teeth. Only a few moments later did the hippo release its grip and let the car escape. The victim still shuddered to recall that day, as under different circumstances, such an encounter could have ended much worse. Many tourists love open jeeps in African parks because they provide an opportunity to get closer to wildlife. However, there is a significant risk in such vehicles. Predators have no barriers preventing them from jumping right in to visit you. This is exactly what happened to a group of students who set out to explore familiar parts of a reserve in South Africa. Unexpectedly, they were approached by a white lion. As their guide explained, this lion grew up around humans and did not experience the usual fear that predators have of people. It simply decided that the truck was something interesting and possibly amusing. The lion literally leaped inside, leaving the terrified students with nothing to do but remain calm and follow the guide's instructions. Fortunately, everything ended well, though many witnesses admitted that this friendly stunt by the lion deeply shook them. The African buffalo is a true embodiment of power and unpredictability. The mass of this hoofed animal can exceed several hundred kilograms, and if it is in a foul mood, its attack can flip a vehicle or cause serious injury. In one national park, a driver stopped near a herd of buffalo to take some photos. One of the males apparently perceived this maneuver as a challenge and began slowly approaching the car. The tourists still hoped to just watch this graceful giant, but it suddenly charged forward. They managed to start moving and get away, lucky indeed. Had they delayed any longer, the outcome could have been far more tragic. Buffalo are often listed among the most dangerous animals in Africa, defending themselves from predators as a herd, and humans do not frighten them. Sometimes even a lion might yield to the power of a buffalo, if the buffalo decides it is time to defend itself. During one safari ride, a group of tourists stumbled into the center of a dramatic scene. Several lions were closing in on a wounded buffalo, which was trying with its last bit of strength to get away. The tourists' vehicle ended up right in the middle of this battle, and the buffalo, disoriented, literally slammed into the side of the car in an effort to shake off a lioness clinging to its back. Although the animal managed to throw off the predator, the buffalo's fate remained uncertain, as lions rarely abandon a hunt once it has started. But in that moment, the impact was captured on camera. The car shuddered, and those inside realized how fine the line is between peaceful observation and real danger when the wild shows its true character. Who would have guessed that lions could learn to use door handles? One incident in Kruger National Park in South Africa shocked both the visitors and staff. A thick car door handle piqued a lioness's curiosity, and showing surprising dexterity, she pulled on it. Imagine the horror of the people inside when, with a soft click, the door began to open. The tourists instantly screamed and grabbed the handle from the inside, slamming the door shut again. This incident made everyone in the park realize just how easily lions can watch human behavior and mimic simple actions. Nowadays, many make sure to lock their doors from the inside, leaving no chance for a lion to get in. Seeing an entire herd of elephants in their natural environment is a real stroke of luck. They may calmly cross the road, raising dust with their trunks, or look after their young without paying particular attention to humans. However, there is always a possibility you might encounter an elephant having a bad day or sensing aggression from outsiders. In one video, shot by a group of German travelers, you can see two large male elephants quarreling right in front of onlookers. The tourists were sure they were about to witness an epic clash of titans and were fully enjoying the spectacle. Suddenly, one of the elephants stopped arguing with its companion and focused on the tourist's car. With a powerful roar, the elephant ran toward the vehicle and struck the rear window with its tusks, shattering it. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, but the incident served as a lesson. One should keep a safe distance from such giants, as they weigh several tons and are nearly uncontrollable when enraged. Traveling during your honeymoon and meeting a majestic silverback gorilla, one would think it is the perfect occasion for unforgettable snapshots. But when the male starts pounding his chest, his gestures signal irritation and a severe warning. A couple who decided to move a bit closer found out what that meant when the excited gorilla suddenly pushed the young wife. Fortunately, no one was injured, but the overall fright was immense. The strength of an adult silverback gorilla is incomparable to that of any human. A single movement of its arm can knock over a full-grown man. Typically, gorillas prefer to avoid conflict, but during mating rituals or while protecting their family group, they will not tolerate anyone invading their personal space. On the African plains of the Serengeti, a photographer aiming to capture a series of unique shots of big cats encountered completely unexpected cheetah behavior. At first, a few cheetahs carefully approached the jeeps, perhaps hoping to spot easy prey or simply to climb up high for a better view. And one of the cheetahs, as though it could not find a comfortable spot outside, suddenly leaped right into the passenger area, landing literally behind a tourist's back. The photographer's heart must have nearly leaped out of his chest. Yet he managed to stay calm and avoided any abrupt movements while the cheetah curiously sniffed the seats. Interestingly, these predators often just check out their surroundings or look for cover, rather than always showing aggression. However, there is always a risk that a cheetah might decide to act on its hunting instincts. Some monkey species are well known for their resourcefulness and cheekiness, especially when it comes to getting food. In one safari park, a group of baboons surrounded a vehicle, apparently lured by treats inside. The most persistent of them had no trouble breaking off windshield wipers, dangling from the side mirrors, and even starting to pry out the door seals. The driver panicked, unsure how to drive them away, because the moment he slightly opened the door, those curious creatures tried to jump in. Clearly, such troops are perfectly aware that a bag or a purse might hide tasty morsels, so they make use of all their ingenuity without any shame. For tourists, it is both comical and frightening, since these pranksters sometimes leave a vehicle stripped of many external parts. In an American safari park in Louisiana, a guy named AJ and his girlfriend C decided to take a drive around the grounds where camels roamed. Sweet-looking on the outside, the animals quickly realized there was food in the car, and they began to crowd around the open windows. One camel showed no restraint. It stuck its head right over to the driver, so persistently that AJ, startled, tumbled into the back seat, letting out a loud shout. His girlfriend burst into hysterical laughter, all while the camel kept shoving its muzzle in, trying to grab the treats. The car could not move forward because more camels blocked the way, eyeing the people greedily. The couple had to endure this for a while before finally escaping the camel siege. It is believed that giraffes are among the most peaceful inhabitants of the savannah. But do not forget that this tall animal has powerful hooves and can deliver a devastating kick. In Kenya's Masai Mara Reserve, the driver and passengers of a truck had a first-hand encounter with just how impressive a giraffe's strength can be. A giraffe was walking along the road when it suddenly decided the vehicle disturbed its peace. Perhaps the motor's noise annoyed it, or the presence of strangers alarmed it. It began to approach menacingly, and before long, the chase turned into a real race. The vehicle tried to speed up, but at some point, the giraffe got ahead and blocked the path. The driver realized it was best not to provoke the animal any further. The exact outcome remains unclear, but witnesses insist that this was not the only incident of giraffe aggression. Safari in Botswana is not just about elephants and lions, but also sly leopards, masters of camouflage. One tourist visiting for photo safaris encountered a young leopard that had caught an impala only a few hours earlier and was enjoying its meal. When the curious group drew closer, the leopard lifted its head and slowly walked toward their jeep, as though evaluating whether the vehicle might be food or a threat. Suddenly, perhaps bored by merely staring, the leopard stood on its hind legs and placed its front paws on the side of the jeep. The onlookers' hearts froze. A single swipe of those claws could seriously injure someone. Fortunately, the leopard did not attack. It merely made a half-hearted swat with its paw, then retreated, displaying the typical aloofness shared by many feline predators. Cape Point in South Africa is known not just for its picturesque views, but also for large troops of brazen baboons. They sit along the roads, literally on the lookout for incoming cars. A tourist who decides to stop for a snack becomes easy prey. The baboons leap onto the roof at lightning speed, try to get in through open windows, or snatch bags. In some cases, they can be quite aggressive. Waving sticks at them is not advised because an enraged troop might start a real pursuit. Locals and rangers try to teach visitors. It is best not to feed or taunt baboons, or else you might lose your belongings or even wind up with a bite. That is how unpredictable any walk through African reserves can be. Enormous elephants, watchful lions, cunning monkeys, and dangerous rhinos, wild nature does not forgive mistakes and always fills the heart with a primeval thrill. Thank you for joining us on this journey packed with incredible stories. Stay tuned and continue discovering new facets of the world.